Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, and this is Pepito Live Costa Rica. Welcome to the show. We have a very, very special show for you today. Costa Rica. Costa Rica is the most wonderful country of the Americas. It is paradise on earth, many people will say. Its area, less than 1% of the planetary surface, but yet Costa Rica is home to more than 5% of the Earth's biodiversity. Carrying nature conservation since the 1960s, Costa Rica's vision of a development combining ecology and economy is now considered a unique example, a unique model for the world. Nearly 30% of the territory is now protected. This includes 25 national parks, 9 ecological reserves, 30 national wildlife reserves, and even more. Ecotourism has become the first economic resource of the country, offering visitors an immense paradise and incredible diversity. This national treasure includes 10,000 species of plants, 15,000 species of butterflies, 870 species of birds, 250 species of mammals, 220 species of reptiles, 34,000 species of insects, and even more. The planet could be thankful to Costa Rica for this treasure. But we, expats and tourists, do we always make the effort to protect and respect the beauties of this paradise in the same spirits that Costa Ricans have been doing it for decades now? Unfortunately, that is not always the case. A few days ago, I was shocked by a video posted by a tourist on social media as a lady engaged in a feeding orgy with monkeys in the Manuel Antonio area. So now, why are these behaviors non-acceptable? Why should we never feed the wildlife? Why is it illegal in Costa Rica? Let's talk about it now. Yes, let's talk about it now. But amigos, before we actually jump in today's subject, let's hear from our sponsor, Dean and Sandy. They have a special welcome for you all.
Hi, I'm Dean.
And I'm Sandy.
And together we represent Emerald Vacation Rental Management, your number one choice for property management in Playas del Coco and the surrounding area.
Enjoy the show.
So today is a very special show, and we have a very special guest with us today. Let's welcome to the show Isabel Corneo Gauthier. Welcome, bienvenida Isabel. ¿Cómo estás?
Muchas gracias. Good afternoon. Nice to be with you.
Isabel, today is a very important subject. We've done this show in French before, and we already want to put a disclaimer out there because we're both French speaking in a Latino country, and this is an English show. So if we slip to one language or the other, please, by all means, amigos, forgive us. Amigos, I want to say before we even continue, this show is meant to be interactive, so please, if you have any questions and you have any comments, please feel free to do so. The subject today, why should we not feed animals in Costa Rica? It's actually an illegal act. We feel it's a very important subject in terms of content. There's a lot of education to do, and so we're going to be really trying to give you a full picture of all of the reasons, the proper reasons why we should actually not engage into that type of activity. Isabel, before we actually get into that content, could you tell our guests that are watching us a little bit about who is Isabel Corneo Gauthier?
So I was born in Quebec, Canada, but my parents brought me here in the 70s. And I grew up here. I lived after that 11 years in Quebec, but I eventually came back to Costa Rica. I've been here since 94, and I've been working as a tour guide now for quite a while. And I'm more Costa Rican than everything else, I think. But
Yeah, no, that's absolutely great. Thank you for being there. Thank you for sharing your time, Isabel. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Before we actually get into like some of the content, the idea of this show actually started a couple of weeks ago when on social media one day I saw someone who was actually feeding animals, monkeys in the Manuel Antonio area, and I call it an orgy of food um, because I was really shocked by this act. I know it does happen in Costa Rica, but we want to talk about it. Why does it happen? Is it a lack of education or whatsoever? But let's I will show as an introduction here, sort of like a little highlight about this little video here. We could see here Isabel is the lady filming and her daughter, and you can see there's a bunch of monkeys there. I think there was about maybe 15, 20 monkeys around, and the daughter feeding mangoes in this hotel. Your reaction to that, Isabel?
Yeah, obviously, this close encounter with a wild animal is quite amazing for everybody. I mean, the closer you are to them, even if you get to touch them, it always feels special. But we have to think of all the consequences this can have on the people who touch the animal and on the animal themselves. So on this short program here, we'll try to educate everybody to think, because when you know better, you do better. So that's the idea behind this program. On this video, so you can see everything is going well, but towards the end of the video, we see that one of the monkey right there, the monkey, it looks like it's entering the room or is close to the room of the guests. And this is one of the bad things that can happen when you feed the animals, when the wild animal associate food with humans.
Absolutely. And I see we have a comment here, Isabel, from Carol Allard. Carol is actually very much involved with protecting the monkeys in the Playa del Coco, Playa Hermosa area. So she's watching the show. I salute her. She's doing a comment there. And please, Carol, by all means, if you have any comments or any information or any questions or whatever you want to share during the show, please, by all means, it's meant to be interactive, so feel free to do so. Isabel, let's jump into the reason number one why we should not actually be, and we try to do this like, in a very, very fun way. So we're going to be presenting these like 10 different points of view. We're going to start with this one here, number one. It says, why not to feed me? I am susceptible to diseases and bacteria found on human hands. Your reaction, Isabel?
Yeah, so this is what we call a reverse zoonosis. So this is when humans can transmit disease to the animals. These diseases can be transmitted by bacteria, but also by viruses, parasites, fungi. And an example of this is the influenza pandemic in 2009, the H1N1 influenza virus that some humans transmitted to pigs and also cats.
Wow.
And I think during this pandemic also there were some cases of tigers, I think, and some zoos that were infected by COVID-19.
So I want to go back to this little video before we go to reason number two. Now, I sort of like, I was shocked by this, and maybe in a certain way I should maybe, yes, be shocked because I live here. Maybe I'm sensitive to some of those issues. But, I reacted very strongly when this video came out, and I actually wrote to the lady, and because I pled to her and I said, ma'am, please take that video off your social media, because actually, like, people think it's cute to interact with animals. And this lady, actually, she thought it was cute. Her comments, she was, oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. People don't realize. and I pled to her to take the video off the social media because I was saying people who don't know, people who see this are going to think this is normal in Costa Rica, and you're going to be coming to Costa Rica and feed all the animals. I'm still shocked. I'm just like thinking
Yeah,
about
so
it.
this is something very accepted in many countries. If you go to Mexico, if you go to Thailand, if you go, you can see on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and see in how many countries tourists are invited to do this. But in Costa Rica, we tried to do things a bit differently. There's many laws that are being instaured to promote ecotourism, and ecotourism also involves sustainability and respect, and so that's why we're doing this program. Okay, so everybody that knows how to do things or why not to do certain things, instead of attacking or criticizing people that are doing it, just tell them, did you know the consequences of you
That's
doing
right.
this?
That's right.
So this
And
is
that
the
is
idea.
why we're happy to share 10 reasons that all of you folks watching today could actually share with some of those people that are actually may get engaged to that type of activity. Reason number two, why not to feed me? I will migrate to places where people feed me, increasing my chances of getting killed. And this is very important. And I'm thinking of Carol Alar, and because she's very involved in building some bridges in the community in Playa Hermosa, Playa del Coco area, because actually, like those monkeys, they want to migrate where people are because they get used to getting their food from that. So if they're migrating into human habitats or human zones, then we're increasing the risk of getting
Yeah,
them killed and
from
hurt.
it's a bit complicated because from the moment the animal is outside of their natural habitat, it has all kind of danger. It's facing all kind of danger. The bridges are often built for so avoid being hit by car. But also in some areas like in Manuel Antonio, where your first video was filmed, the animals start to spend a lot more time outside of the park than inside the park. And they would go from hotel to hotel, and they are going from hotel to hotel using the electrical lines. So they get electrocuted on the electrical lines. That's why in Manuel Antonio, you see ropes. So they put up ropes, hoping that the monkeys will use the ropes instead of the electrical power line. And then also other dangers that the animals suffer when they're outside of their natural habitat is getting attacked by dogs. But in other places, we have invaded their ecosystem. So again, it's all about trying to find this equilibrium between our activities and their activities. And to understand that the only thing that animals need is for us to respect their habitat.
Absolutely. Yeah. And those type of bridges actually are some of the initiatives that are being done in the area here by Carol Allard
Excellent.
and her
Excellent.
movement. So reason number three, I will become aggressive towards human and other species.
So, like you mentioned during the video, it was a kind of a feeding orgy, you said, and this is not something that is natural in the behavior. So, when we talk about monkeys and white-faced capuchin monkeys, who they are omnivorous. And they eat whatever they can put their hands on. Yeah, that's an excellent picture. Yeah. So the white-faced capuchin monkey will eat whatever it can put its hand on, and each member of the group is looking for their own food. It's not like there's a bunch of food at the same place at the same time. So when humans are feeding them, for one thing, they expect the human to feed them. So if they're not fed, they will get aggressive towards the human. And then they
Absolutely.
will get aggressive between each other because they want to benefit from this food that is available.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look at now at reason number 4. Fruits who are often full of pesticides can give me serious dental and digestive illnesses and even kill me. And I have to admit, Isabel, that when we prepared the show, actually the first time in French, and I saw that. And that was a point that I never really, even myself, really, even as a tour guide, I've never really paid much attention to that. But that's so true, is because the food that we will buy, even though Costa Rica is very green and everything, some fruits do have pesticides, and that could be devastating to the animal.
Yeah, so well, sometimes those that have been out in parks and everywhere in the country, we've seen tourists feed really bad things like cookies and chips. And obviously, the amount of sugar and salt we have in those products will cause a diabetes problem, high blood pressure, digestive problem, problem in the teeth also. So a lot of people say, okay, so we can feed them fruits instead of chips and cookies. But then we have other problems. Many of these fruits, they don't come originally from Costa Rica, like mango or banana don't come originally from here. They're often grown in extensive monocultures where we have to use insecticide, pesticide, fungicides, all kinds of agrochemicals, because you cannot have a monoculture without agrochemicals. And then on top of all these products, always remember that by the moment, just by touching the fruit and with your hands and giving them to the monkey, already again there can be bacteria in your hands that will make the animal sick.
Okay, so Isabel, so let's go right now to the next reason. Let's go to number 5. I become dependent, and that devastates all my important survival skills. So what do you think about this one?
Yeah, so the change of habit, so the animals by nature will be opportunistic. So if they're fed, it will change their whole lifestyle. And like I said, for example, this white-faced capuchin monkey is an omnivorous monkey. So to be healthy, it needs a certain kind of diet composed of different things. So if it's always nourished fruits, well, it will, will not eat iguanas or baby squirrels or, meat. So it will stay where it get fed. So it will be malnourished. And also they have to know what is good to eat and what is not good to eat in the forest. And so if they're always fed in the same place, younger generations will not learn what is good and what is not good, and it will be a problem eventually.
Absolutely. So let's go right now and see reason number 6. We're doing very, very good here on time. Feeding me will intervene with my natural habits. This will change my lifestyle and kill me. So we've covered that here a little bit. And what I tried to do during the show is I tried in every illustration that we present show many of the animals in Costa Rica that actually people have a tendency of feeding. And this is one that actually is pretty popular from a feeding perspective, is the coati.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you have some images that you will eventually share with us. But you have, there you go. So this is going around Lake Arenal, I believe.
Yes, absolutely.
And so people stop to feed the coatis. Coatis, for those who don't know them, are close parent of the raccoons. And so they come out on the road to get fed. And obviously, well, when the car comes fast, not everybody wants to stop to feed the coatis. And very often they get hit by a car because they're waiting for somebody to feed them instead of being out in the wild to look for their own food. Also, when we think about dependency and the change in their natural habits, some species that are nocturnal will become diurnal. And it will affect the whole ecosystem because in the forest, every population of every species is controlled by its interaction with other populations of other species. So what affects one species will have direct consequences on all the other species that interact with this particular species. So the damage can be really, really great on an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think that the government does like enough, Isabel, to maybe like inform tourists who come to Costa Rica? Because some people just don't know. They're going around Lake Arenal, and they're enjoying, and then all of a sudden, their trip, and then all of a sudden they see those coatis, they get out of the car, and the first thing you know, they're feeding them like Pringles. Do you believe that Costa Rica does enough, or the Tourism Institute, or that we operators, we do enough? What's your perspective on that?
In what? Yeah, in what? Because when we talk about sustainability and equilibrium and respect and all that, it's never enough. You can see, just watch the news tonight, and you will see how human behavior is affecting the whole planet. So, and the only way to change this is really to take action through education so that people stop doing what they're doing wrong, find new ways, different ways to do things.
Yeah.
So it's never enough. Obviously, Costa Rica is on top of the list of the countries that are trying to do things in a different way. 27% of our territory is protected under some kind of protection. It's probably higher right now. We have reversed the deforestation rate. At one point, we had less than 50% of our total territory with forest. Now it has increased because of reforestation programs. So, but, we still have a lot of work to do. Last program, somebody was talking about nurturing dogs, stray dogs, what we could do about that, and all that. So yeah, so education is the key. Thank you, Diane.
Yeah.
So and there's always it will never be enough. It will never be enough.
Okay. So because we don't only want to be like appear like we're just blaming the tourists for this. This is what I say.
Yeah, and a lot of people are under the impression that if a Costa Rican does it, it means that it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's not.
Okay, cool. So we've looked at about half of them. So let's just have like a little commercial clip here. There you go. That wasn't long. So
that was short.
that was short. We like to keep it like that. There's also the risk. Here's the of poaching. This is reason number 7. My contact with humans facilitate poaching and facilitates my illegal trade with the toucan or whichever other type of animal, actually.
Yeah. Often people forget that exotic species, black market species trading is moves quite a lot of money. I've read somewhere between $7 and $23 billion a year. So it's quite a profitable criminal enterprise. And if the animals get used to human contact, it will get easier to to catch them. In Costa Rica, traditionally, poachers have gone for monkeys, for parrots, macaws, toucans, and it's very sad because many of the animals that are taken out of the country in the black market will die before they reach their destination. So
Well, that's
poaching
very,
is
very,
very, very sad. Yeah.
very, very, very sad. We talked a little bit earlier. We talked about the coati. I have like because the risk of getting like hurt, from the part of a human is actually also like something that's very, very, very important because wildlife remains wildlife.
Yeah.
So if we want to interact with them, it's very difficult to foresee their behavior. And we were speaking of coati. This is actually, drawn from a medical report that I found like on internet. This is actually like a coati scar. So look how deep and brutal this has been because people don't realize, but this animal could actually attack you.
Yeah, the wild animals, they look so cute. There's actually many stuffed animals that represent all these wild animals, and we see them. They look so cute, but we forget that they are equipped with long claws and sharp teeth. In the case of the coati, it's used to scratch the soil to get larvae, and so it has very, very sharp claws and teeth. Very,
Yeah.
it's a it has a very diverse diet and it eats meats also. So
Mhm. So let's jump into reason number 8. Feeding pregnant females will result in malnourished and unhealthy babies.
yeah, so this is again one of the consequences we don't consider when we feed them, that they will be malnourished. Sorry, and the babies will be unhealthy, and also it's a very important part of the baby upbringing to go around in the forest looking for food with their mothers. That's how they learn which plant is toxic, which fruit is good to eat, which insect can be dangerous, or if not to eat a snake, a poisonous snake or something. But if they don't move around the forest with their mother, learning what to eat and what to avoid, they will probably be in trouble also in the future.
Okay. Reason number 9, feeding me will eliminate my need for exercise, which is important for my survival.
Yeah, so that's change in the behavior of the animals. So, like I said, the animals have feeding habits. They have a time of the day. The diurnal species, for example, are very active in the early morning. Then very often you will have them. You will see them taking a siesta, and then at the end of the day, they will be more active looking for food. And then they will go to sleep. So, but if their feeding habits are changed, it has an impact on the rest of their habit.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go right now to reason number 10. So I do not get vaccines. It's very popular subject right now, and could pass disease to you that your doctor will be angry about. So it's kind of cute, actually.
So again, this is what we call zoonotic diseases. And again, these diseases can be transmitted by bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi. And some of these diseases are rabies, salmonella, toxoplasmosis, anthrax, influenza, and the bubonic plague that it's in many stories.
Wow. So,
So just to name a few.
yeah, no, just absolutely. So we're talking about disease. We talked about like also attacks a little bit earlier. There's another picture I wanted to show. This is actually like a friend of mine who actually got attacked when they were doing a boat ride. They stopped on a beach somewhere, and they actually got like sort of like attacked or ambushed even by a troop of monkey. And this is my friend. Her name is Isabel also, and the monkeys literally like jumped on her, and they were actually not feeding them. She was telling me, but nonetheless, they were aggressive. They were maybe they were aggressive because they weren't feeding them. I don't know. But you could see here, like the scars. He was actually, had to go to the hospital to get this treated and get checked. But you can see actually, like 3 of the scars that she has actually here on her face. So,
animals, wild animals are wild animals, and they can have very unexpected behavior if they have been fed, or sometimes we don't know why, but yeah, they can be dangerous.
That's right. That's right. And we see that, the human interaction with monkey is it's not good for the monkey. It's not good for the human. But they may get sick also for different type of reasons eventually. So it's not a relationship that was meant to be. Let's put it this way.
Mm-hmm. No, and around the world you can see negative consequences of close encounters, sometimes for the wild animals, sometimes for the humans. I know that in some national parks in North America, there are signs that says a fed bear is a dead bear.
Yep.
Because an animal that becomes aggressive has to be relocated, or very often has to be killed.
Absolutely. So here's another good video example of something not to do. This comes right from YouTube. This lady actually, engaged in feeding coatis. And you could even, I don't know, in this video, like pay attention. You could see like some potential aggressivity from the animal here. Check this out.
Oh. Hey, no. No, Teacher, are you getting this? Okay, here. Whoa. Hey,
he wants the whole thing.
Here, there you go. Oh my God.
Oh boy. You might need to throw that banana down.
Okay, there we go. Here. Guys. Okay, you gotta go down.
Get away from there. Oh yeah, look at this.
Okay. Hey, there you go.
Your reaction, Isabel?
Yeah, like you can see that the animals are going crazy, and that's an accident just waiting to happen. It's you see that she has no control, over the animals. It's not like a trained dog that you tell him sit and you give them the food. And there's no control here, so it can get out of hands really, really fast.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So now, Isabel, the last reason number 11 here, it is like, why not to feed me? It is illegal animals. Like feeding animals in Costa Rica is illegal by law. You could be fined for feeding an animal according to Article 116 of Law number 8689. 86, 89.
Yeah, so the Costa Rican government has been setting guidelines, protocols, and legislations, and they're all there for a reason. We want to promote ecotourism. We want to promote sustainability. We want to promote respect. We want to promote responsibility. We want to promote education and contribution. So people have to understand that seeing an animal in its natural habitat is a privilege, and it happens by chance. There's no way. I mean, you can, as we both work in the tourism industry, and we know where to look for what, but we still need the animal to be there. So that's why you should never, for everybody that comes to Costa Rica, never take for granted whatever species you see during your trip, because it's a great privilege. If you want to see something for sure, go to a zoo, go to Disney World, but don't come to Costa Rica. Here, the idea is to see the animals in the wild, and it is so precious when it happens in a spontaneous way. It's almost magical.
Hmm.
I myself, I'm very sensitive, and I've cried many, many times.
Yeah.
And you realize it's so magical because you're in the right place at the right time, and you don't have to grab, manipulate, stress the animal. And it's kind of difficult because you see National Geographic, you see Discovery Channel, you see people that manipulate the animal, that stress the animal. And we know that sometimes it goes really wrong, like this famous crocodile man guy, Steve Irwin, I believe he was Australian. Well,
Yeah.
he ended up getting too close to an animal, and he actually died. But it is so precious to see animals in their natural habitat and not interfering with what they're doing, behaving like you were invisible. It's magical experience.
Oh, yeah!
Well, I think our little monkey friend here agrees with magical.
Excellent.
That's excellent. Isabel, before we conclude, we've covered a lot of material, and I think the message we want to, leave people today is, amigos, please, don't feed the animals, and please, by all means, share this video, share this information, because there's a lot of education that still needs to be done. We're not blasting the tourists because some people don't know and they're so happy. They think it's normal. It's not normal. And like Isabel was saying that, I take apart, and I agree with you, Isabel, on the fact that, if you're going to a national park or in whichever area of Costa Rica and you see the animals in their natural type of, habitat, it becomes magical. It becomes just like, wow, he came to me. They came, like I've seen like animals come close to people, at a distance, but that makes it, you don't need to feed them, by curiosity, sometimes they're going to approach themselves. So anyway, that's what I want to say is that, it's the reason why, we wanted to do this show, reason why we invited you to share your expertise, your knowledge on this very, very important subject.
Yeah, so I mean, Costa Rica is a magical place. Come here without too much expectations, but with an open heart and an open mind. And Costa Rica and nature, Mother Nature, will give exactly what you need. You just have to let it happen. Stop controlling, stop calculating, just be present here and enjoy the moment.
And there's so many things to see, even though maybe you may not see what you're expecting the first time, but there's so many beautiful things.
You can always come back. You can always come back.
And there's so many things to see in Costa Rica. So we have a thank you message here from Diane Leclerc, and who says, thank you both. It was very interesting. Thank you, Diane, for watching the show.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody that this show is taped on Pepito Live on Facebook Live, but you post it also on YouTube. Huh? So
yeah, yep. Actually,
if anybody has questions afterwards, or I always go back to the video. So if anybody has questions afterwards, also I will be glad to answer them.
That's great. Yeah, so we do actually. We're broadcasting live from our channel, Pepito Live Costa Rica on YouTube, also on several Facebook pages, and we're easy to find. And people could also find you, Isabel Corneo Gauthier. The people could actually find you also on, there's your name. You have a Facebook page yourself, and if people have any questions or whatever and want to salute you, they surely could do it. So, Isabel, it was a pleasure having you on the show once again. And thank you for joining us. And I hope that we will. Yes, you want to add something?
Sorry, just one last comment. If you come to Costa Rica, try to look for agencies and tour guides that are certified by the Costa Rican Institute of Tourism. So they usually have their ID, like this one. I don't know. There you go. Okay, so this certification often involves education, first aid courses, and all kinds of. We're professional.
Yeah, you
We
can.
take it hard what we do, and it's important to look for certified people.
Absolutely. Certified agencies like Costur and others, and certified guides like you, Isabel. And show your badge again because I'm sorry I cut you off.
Let's see.
There you go. Okay, there's a certified badge. Okay, I see we do have a comment here from Yves Rasset. Okay, great show once again. Thank you. Thank you for watching, Yves. So, Isabel, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you very kindly. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. See you next time.
Yes, and amigos, thank you for watching the show. It was a pleasure. This was also our first sponsored show on Pepito Life Costa Rica. And to close the show, we want to thank Emerald Vacation Rental Management for sponsoring this show. We were honored by this. And I hope, amigos, that you enjoy this. And as a conclusion to the show, we're going to present to you a property actually showcased by Emerald Vacation Rental Management. So here it is. Ciao, hasta luego.